well, the Professional Bowlers Association's regional title. With me is Al Thompson. I'm Steve Physiok, but Al Thompson is the regional director of the PBA. And just 2 days ago, Al, we had 128 of the finest bowlers from the Midwest bowling in our regional championship right here at the Super Bowl. Right now, we're down to 4. We have 2, Bob Chamberlain, Dave Newrath, going in just a moment, and that's going to be an exciting pairing.
Well, we're down to the top 4, Steve, and Bob Chamberlain will be trying for his 4th championship in our regional program. He's up against a very tough bowler in the first match.
How about Bob Chamberlain? He has been a tough one to contend with all weekend.
Well, he's one of our leading point winners on the tour. He'll be going to Atlanta in a couple of weeks to bowl down there. Plus, the going for $3,000 is not bad.
Dave Newrath, an interesting story. He pulled a hamstring earlier this afternoon, really struggled, but in the final game, the dramatics came out, he bowled a 238, and he's here in the qualifying round.
Well, Dave used to be a member of the PBA 3 years ago. He's took a rest. Dave's coming back, hopefully in 1984, and he won his first 7 games this afternoon, and then he lost 4, but bowling 238 in his last game, he got in the championship. And
the winner of that battle will meet Keith Kolozsi, and Keith Kolozsi is a man with an unusual delivery, but boy, does he get it done. Well, we call him unorthodox, and I've told him that he throws a backup ball, but he doesn't really. He has a high backswing. He's our leading point winner in our region. He will also be trying to win his 2nd title, and he's a man to watch. Steve Fehr, he has been the leader all weekend long. Well, Steve is the defending champion. I mentioned to Doug Martin here earlier this week that we probably should rename the tournament the Steve Fehr Classic. So who knows, maybe he'll make it 2 in a row. Steve Fehr, the defending champion. We'll find out just who will be our champion. But first, the matchup of Dave Newrath and Bob Chamberlain after these words.
Welcome to the
When I first bought this ranch, I could work it with 1 horse. Place has grown a little since then. And along the way, I learned something. If you sell a man good steers at a fair price, you're going to do okay. The people that make Meister Brau beer must have gone to the same school I did. They got a beer here that tastes just as good as Budweiser. They sure do. It just doesn't cost as much. It sure don't. I got a hunch. Those boys are going to do okay, too.
Introducing Meister Brau. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
As an investor today, you're faced with more alternative places to put your money than ever before. It's a jumble out there. At Gradison & Company, we can help you fit the pieces into place, build creatively to meet your financial objectives. Our investment specialists have their hands on the whole range of alternatives available and the knowledge required to put the right ones together into a soundly structured program. Since 1925, Cincinnati money has grown with Gradison.
Bowling just for fun, bowling for the action when the weekend comes. Shake 'em up, shake 'em up. It's a weekend blast when the lanes are fast. Shake 'em up. Well, bowling after dinner, putting on a show. Everyone's a winner, man, you gotta go. Shake 'em up, shake 'em up. Do a day or night, bowling's out of sight. Shake 'em up.
For the finest bowling in the Blue Ash area, visit Crossgate Lanes in the center of Blue Ash.
More stores and things.
More everything.
Find a lot to give at Florence Mall.
Ho, ho, ho! Your biggest mall.
It is called the Super Bowl, and it is one of the most gorgeous bowling facilities in the Midwest. Today, it is host to the 4 finalists in the PBA Regional Championships. And one is Bob Chamberlain, and he will be meeting an outstanding young bowler in Dave Newrath this afternoon. Bob Chamberlain, he will be dressed in the green today, and he has an outstanding style. Al?
Well, he takes 5 steps, Steve. Very deliberate bowler. He's low at the foul line, and I look for him to be a high-scoring match.
3 regional PBA titles, twice winning our regional doubles tournament. And his opponent is Dave Newrath, the former PBA member, but bowled in this tournament as an amateur. Best finish in the PBA tournament, 7th in Syracuse in 1976, and he's playing injured today. And they will all be going after this man, Steve Fehr, the defending champion, an outstanding gentleman, and he again the leading bowler coming into today's competition.
Well, Steve Fehr is trying to make it 2 championships here at SuperBowl in Erlanger, and you just can't say nothing bad about Steve. He's just an outstanding athlete, and we look for him to be again the defending champion.
All right, Bob Chamberlain. He is set for his first. They have had their practice competition already. Bob Chamberlain had an outstanding finish in his last 4 matches. 237, 247, 204, and 201.
You know, Steve, Bob had to win his last 4 games to make the show. And you can watch his approach. Very deliberate 5-step. Here he goes.
Perfect.
It's not a bad start.
Well, that was perfect form, wasn't it? Just like you said. And he has a smile, barely creasing his face as he walks back to sit down, and he will watch the competition, Dave Newrath, who finished in a dramatic style because he pulled a hamstring in, I think, the 10th match, he said, and came back and won the finale with a bowling of 238.
Now, Dave started off today winning his first 7 games, had a letdown in the last game, had to win it with the 238.
And that was against Tom Mengi, and Mengi fired at 198, but Newrath took him away on the 7th frame, 238.
Yeah. Dave has had a lot of experience, Steve. He was on our national tour 4 or 5 years ago, and he told me this afternoon he's definitely getting back into the tour.
He fires away for the 3 remaining pins, but once again, when he came out of that this afternoon, he finished the bowling, the 238, went home, wrapped his thigh because he had that pulled hamstring.
We have an alternate standing by just in case Dave would not be able to finish the match, but I think he's warmed up and he's got his leg wrapped. He's going to be okay.
Second time for Dave Newrath.
Tough hit. He should have had that. If you watch, Dave almost stumbled at the foul.
You can tell he has had that problem with his hamstring. Just does barely mitt the final pin as it goes, that angles its way into the channel.
Yeah, the 6 just wrapped around the 10 pin, and he's getting set now to make the spare.
Let's watch the approach. You can see him straining painfully just a bit, but he nails the final one for a spare. He has had 2 300 games in his career, and right now he's playing on a lot of courage. But here we have Bob Chamberlain again, for 2nd time, strike his first.
Steve, Bob is an experienced player on the tour. He's been in the PBA 5 years, and again, very deliberate. These guys want the money.
See if it hooks in. It will. And he has 2 strikes for Bob Chamberlain, and the crowd here at the Super Bowl really excited. Let's watch Bob Chamberlain.
Bob getting the double. The ball's coming in thin. There it goes. 5 pin rips into the 4-7 for the double.
You could tell as soon as he let it go, he knew he had a good one. Here he is again. He's been perfect on his first 2.
He's standing a little bit more left on lane 7 than he did on the last lane. It's looking good again.
Left the 1. It looked like the 2 pin may have swung a little bit to the right. And Bob, that's the first time we've seen him stare at the frame. He's usually turned and walked away.
That was one of the stronger balls that the bowling fans are going to see. When the ball hits the pocket and drives through and leaves the 9 pin, the bowlers really expect to strike on a hit like that. Trying to cover the spare.
And he does.
Pabst is the place. There's just no doubt about it.
I think there's more flavor to it than other beers. I think Pabst is good beer.
Pabst is the place. Your good friends all around you for the real taste of beer and all the good times you have here.
You know it's always going to taste good. That's what counts.
For the real taste of beer, Pabst is the place.
Hi, this is Tim Timberman of Timberman Mazda, where we have a philosophy about the way we consult with you about your automobile purchase. We're interested in your lifestyle, your particular wants and needs. Tim Timberman is Mazda. Sundowner trucks, the GLC, RX-7, and the all-new Mazda 626. Come in and browse in our indoor automotive showroom. As big as all outdoors. Take I-75 south to the Florence-Burlington exit, then left to Tanner's Lane.
Bowling for excitement, bowling just for fun. Bowling for the action when the weekend comes. Shake 'em up, shake 'em up. It's a weekend blast when the lanes are fast. Shake 'em up. We're bowling after dinner, putting on a show. Everyone's a winner, man, you gotta go. Shake 'em up, shake 'em up. Do it day or night, bowling's out of sight. Shake 'em up.
Why not go bowling at one of 26 Greater Cincinnati BPA bowling centers listed in the Yellow Pages under BPA?
The other day, after eating at Perkins, my dad bought this glass mug for this 99 cents. It made a great home for my pet guppies, Geronimo and JJ. Inside this mug was a coupon for another mug free. And now we get another mug free every time we go to Perkins for a meal. It's a good thing because Geronimo and JJ have been very busy. Very, very busy.
Bob Chamberlain picked up strikes in frames 4, 5, 6, and 7, while Dave Newrath, working on a spare in the third, filled in the fourth, also with a spare, then strikes in the fifth, sixth, and the seventh. We now pick up Dave Newrath bowling in the eighth.
Dave uses one of the softer bowling balls on them that the pros use, and you get more hook out of the ball. You can see it there as he gets his hand position. Critical shot. Stumbled, might get a break. Might get a break. He got it.
He smiles on that one. Dave Newrath comes walking back with his crowd here. Very excited, but you can see Dave with a little body English there trying to get that final pin to fall, and it does.
That puts Dave within 10 pins of the match.
Face etched with concentration for Bob Chamberlain with that slow approach.
Got 7.
It looked good when it started there, Al. What happened?
He was Bob was a little fast with his feet, and if you notice at the foul line, he came up too quickly. He did not stay with the delivery, with the shot, and as a result, the ball did not finish into the pocket. He'll be moving left to shoot the spare. If he makes the spare, it's exactly 10 pins.
It looked like he did start a little quicker there. The last 2 times he has gone, he has quickened his pace. Let's watch it from the pit here.
The ball coming in light, leaving the 4 pin standing, and with a strike, Dave can be in the lead.
I'll bet he couldn't do that again.
Well, that's the first bad shot in 7 frames that Chamberlain has thrown. Very critical shot here, must strike. Again, he's up high, foul line, the ball just went left.
And he leaves the 3 on the right side rather than the left from the previous.
This is what happens really when your opponent keeps throwing strikes at you. The pressure mounts, and you just don't react as you did before when you had a comfortable lead. The pressure's on, so a bowler has a tendency to rush the shot. Made the spare.
Fired away that time with a final spare. It's a round of applause, but Bob Chamberlain, as you can see, unhappy with himself at this particular time. And he will watch as Dave Newrath with the lead.
Dave takes a 2-pin lead going into this shot. If he strikes, he will have a 12-pin lead and the all-important foundation strike in the 9th frame.
They are after just under $8,000 in prize money.
Solid 10 pin, Steve. That was a tough break. If Dave makes the spare, he will be leading the match by 1 pin.
It hit sharp like it was going to kick that 10 pin out, but is that the 4 pin that just swept by?
Well, the 6 pin went around the 10, and we saw that happen earlier. And it's just too much speed. Must make the spare in order to maintain the lead. Barely made it.
He came away smiling on that one once again. I thought he was going to wipe his brow and say, ah.
Watch him hang on. Ball just nips the 10 pin.
There's Dave saying, attaboy.
Steve, I'm glad we're not bowling these guys. We would be in trouble.
You can say that again. Can build his lead here. Looks nice. Cuts in. And knocks the final one down.
Not the 10.
Looked like a 6 pin again, was it not?
The 6 laid on the 10. The 6 lays on the 10. Watch it real slowly. And it topples the 10 at the last minute. See, 6 tilts on the 10.
Dave liked that one, huh?
Well, it kept him with a 1 pin lead, and really if he throws 2 more strikes, he wins the match and locks out Chamberlain. And Chamberlain is just hopeless.
Man with 7 Cincinnati city titles.
Young Dave, come on!
Boy, has he come on tough down the stretch here.
This is a tremendous shot under pressure. This puts Dave in the position, if he throws strike on his last shot, he wins his match. There's a possibility, Steve, of a tie. If Dave would get 9 and Chamberlain would strike out, we would have a tie game. Big shot.
Loose. And it leaves 1.
That sets up the tie.
Bob Chamberlain has the pressure on him now as Dave Newrath sits down.
You just saw some great pressure bowling by Dave Newrath. He got the 9. Chamberlain must throw all 3 strikes in the 10th frame for the tie. Steve, in PBA competition, if there's a tie match, we bowl the 9th and 10th frames to break all ties. Biggest ball of the match for Chamberlain.
He had quickened his approach just slightly recently.
He's made a good shot.
Gets his strike. Something he needed so desperately on that occasion. He had quickened his pace just a little bit recently, and it looked like he slowed it down on this occasion.
He stayed low on that shot. The release was out on the lane. The ball's going to come in, and the pins are going to be swished to the left for the strike.
Very pretty shot by Bob Chamberlain. Dave Newrath feeling the heat of the pursuing Bob Chamberlain.
It amazes me how these guys can perform under pressure.
Under the lights and the cameras.
And all the money. Taking too much time. Too much time. Too wide. Got a break. Got a break.
How about that? Swept back in. That was over near the right channel and swept back in right between the 1 and the 3. And Bob Chamberlain has himself a strike.
He throws this ball way wide, lifts, and you can see it finishing. The 4 pin just got the 7 for the double. If we get a strike on this shot, we have a tie game and must bowl the 9th and 10th frame to break the tie. Tremendous bowling. Looks good. We got a tie.
Wow. Well, we have had some outstanding competition in our first match of the Professional Bowling Association's Regional Championship. Look at it kick in there.
Perfect strike for the tie.
And Dave Newrath and Bob Chamberlain are both locked. Our score?
The score is 234, 234. We have to bowl the 9th and 10th frame to break the tie. Dave Newrath will throw first on lane 7.
Dave Newrath.
Our tournament assistant, Bob Black, just informing the players about the tie.
And Dave Newrath, who has already bowled 12 games today, and how many yesterday? 12 yesterday? And
8 yesterday.
8 yesterday?
Yes.
So all of a sudden he has bowled 20 in the last 2 days with that bad hamstring, which is annoying him. He has to go back there for an extra 2, and I think he'd like some rest now.
This is called sudden victory.
And it is a beautiful by Dave Newrath of Cincinnati.
We might be.
You could tell Dave Newrath, as soon as he released it, he knew he had a good one.
Almost stumbled again. 6 takes out the 10 late. Very critical. Now the pressure switches to Chamberlain.
Chamberlain opening quickly, struggling in the middle, with a rousing finish. Locked at 234. Looks pretty, and it is pretty.
Steve, at this rate, we might be here till Sunday afternoon.
These guys are going to bowl strikes back. 234 we were locked at the end of regulation.
Tremendous pressure bowling by both bowlers. When you see something like this, you don't want anybody to lose. It's too bad we can't tie, but in sports, there's a winner and a loser.
Well, Bob Chamberlain finished with a 237, 247, 204, 201 prior to this match with Dave Newrath. Again, very deliberate on his approach, and that has been his consistency for success today.
Let's look at a good pin.
He left the far right pin.
If the 6 pin just wrapped around the 10, Steve, and left it standing, it's very critical again. He must make the spare and get 10 on his next shot. If he does that, Newrath would have to double, must strike on his first ball in the 8th frame to win. He has it.
Now, you talked earlier, what must Dave Newrath do to pick up the victory here?
If Chamberlain strikes on this shot, that'll give him a score of 40. Dave must strike to win. However, if he would get 9 and make the spare and throw a strike, we would have a second tie. As I said, we could be here till Sunday afternoon.
It has one wobbling and finally holds. And Bob Chamberlain, by the thinnest of margins, will now sit down, leaving 1. And Dave Newrath.
Dave can fill the frame with a spare and strike and win by 1 pin. If he strikes, he automatically wins the match.
And that is exactly what he's telling himself right now.
Well, he just hopes that leg holds up. Under pressure, you never know.
When he finishes with a 234 with that bad leg, I think he plays pretty good with that bad leg. Here we go.
Not too bad. Ball's going to be the winner. Tremendous bowling.
The shake of the hands, the congratulations from Bob Chamberlain to Dave Newrath, and here we will see the winning shot. shot.
Right now, your Amana dealer is having a sale you love.
Oh,
You'll love it because everything's on sale. Radar range microwave ovens, washers and dryers, even refrigerators. It's the Amana sale you love.
Maybe you, but you've never tried to get this thing down a chimney.
The Amana sale you love at your participating Amana dealer.
Available at all Swallen stores.
For years now, we've been kidding Jim here about his eyesight. The fact is that Jim has the eyes of an eagle.
Thanks, Boog.
Why, he's one of the first guys to spot light beer from Miller. Saw right away that light tastes great and it's less filling.
Sure, all you have to do is read the label. It says light has 1/3 less calories than a regular beer.
I think you want this, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
As I was saying, it's the same as the nose on your face.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Oh, I don't believe this.
Story Machinery invites you to make in America with Black & Decker. Tools America makes things with. Story Machinery has a complete line of professional Black & Decker power tools to handle the toughest jobs. And for a limited time only, Story has special pricing and rebates on the Black & Decker cut saw, sander, 4.5-inch grinder, and 3/8-inch drill. Story Machinery, the Tri-State's largest distributor of portable power tools for sales and service. Story Machinery, 1424 Central Parkway, Cincinnati, Ohio. The World of Bowling Pro Shops are Cincinnati's only discount pro shop featuring top-quality balls, shoes, shirts, bags, and the best prices you'll find anywhere. World of Bowling has 2 convenient locations on the corner of Kenwood and Montgomery Roads in Kenwood and in the Brentwood Bowl. Now through Wednesday, you'll find special values on AMF angles. Normally $95 elsewhere, now just $69.95, hard or soft. Expert fitting and drilling is included free with purchase, even sale items. Visit the World of Bowling Pro Shop soon, or just call 793-3700 or 729-BOWL.
More stores and things.
More everything.
Find a lot to give at Florence Mall.
Ho, ho, ho! Your biggest mall.
The field has been trimmed to 3 at the Super Bowl in Erlanger, Kentucky. Dave Newrath with a sudden victory overtime. This exciting finish to his match will now face Keith Kolozsi. And our second and third pace. Here's Keith Kolozsi. And we talked about his style earlier. He is a power hitter.
Well, look at the swing, Steve. Tremendous power. One of the strongest balls in bowling.
And our lead man will be Dave Newrath. To start it all, 31 years old, from right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Finished with a .234, and he's playing injured.
It's interesting, Steve, that Kolozsi wanted Dave to start the match. And in Dave's first match, he had a chance to finish. He's getting off great.
Starts with a strike. Dave Newrath. Again, he had that rallying finale to start the entire day with that .238 to make it in the third position to face Bob Chamberlain. Won in sudden victory over time when they two tied at .234, and now faces this man, Keith Kolozsi.
Keith doesn't take too much time. He'll get on the approach and run to the line. See the power on that shot. Tremendous power.
He drives it through there. As a matter of fact, Dave Newrath said, if I was smart, I would be intimidated by this man, but I'm not.
Here again is the shot. Plants the foot, twists it out on the lane, ball comes in. Tremendous power on the pins. It just switches from left.
And boy, has he been on a rampage of late, finishing earlier today with a .245, .238, .238, .244 total, and starting with a strike here in the semifinal round.
Earlier in match play, he won 10 of his 12 matches.
Leaves one.
Too much power. He's going to have to make an adjustment on lane 7. Lane 7 is moving, hooking about 2 more boards than lane 8. Keith will just get up, get set. Once he gets his fingers in the ball, looks at the pin and takes off. That's right.
You can almost feel the pins, hear them screaming in pain as they get blasted away by Keith Kolozsi.
I get tired just watching him ball.
He really has a high backswing.
You really wonder how long his career can last with a shot that way. Just exact contrast of Dave. Now Dave, very methodical. Takes a lot of time. Stumbled to the line, ball went high. I think setting a couple of minutes before he started the second match, Steve, that leg might have tightened up on Dave. That ball went high and he was lucky to not get a split.
He'll face the action here again. Pattern himself. He came from behind to defeat Bob Chamberlain earlier.
He's came from behind all day.
Has the remaining two, has himself a spare.
Dave Newrath struck in the third and fourth frames, then settled for a spare in both the fifth and sixth frames, while Keith Kolozsi struck in the third and fourth frames, then a spare in the fifth with a strike in the sixth. Now Dave Newrath on lane number 7.
Dave Newrath trying to stay in it to face the defending champion Steve Fehr.
Both of these bowlers, Steve, are behind the pace set in their first match when our bowlers tied with a 234 game. Again, the 10-pin laying in the standing up. 6 did not take it out.
Before he came away with a smile on his face, this time with a bit of concern as he watched that 10 lay there.
You can see the pain on his face when he threw the ball. 6-pin did not come out. He's slightly upset. However, regains composure. Must make the spare to stay in the match. He's wide.
Just as misses as it channels to
Very
the right.
tough break. Very tough break.
And that will hurt Dave Newrath. Bob Chamberlain left 1. The 7th frame of our earlier match. Dave Newrath has done it in number 7 here in the semifinal.
This is an opportunity, a great opportunity for Keith. If he could double here, take a commanding lead. Didn't take advantage of the opportunity. He has a split. Must.
We have here a...
You can see the ball enter to the pins. Just cuts right through the 6-pin falling down.
3-10 split.
3-10 split standing. This is an even money shot for the pros, Steve.
He blasted away. Power bowling by Keith Kolozsi. And Kolozsi has the lead. He got it right where he wanted to.
The ball fits snugly between the 3. Bounces over for the 10.
Did it ever.
That gives Keith a 12-pin lead.
Stares the frame down. Great shot.
He's back on target.
And he has the strike. And Keith Kolozsi again with the advantage here in number 7.
You can see the ball go slightly wide. It's coming in, and the power of the ball tips the 5 into the 4, the 4 into the 7 for the strike.
So now Dave Newrath feeling the heat from Keith Kolozsi. Kolozsi sitting confidently behind, watching Newrath deliver. Hugs it in. Strikes him out.
Dave comes bouncing back. He doesn't want to give up.
We'll get a perfect example of a perfect strike here as it swings in between the 1 and the 3.
All 10 gone.
It's the way they were angling themselves. Strike written all over it.
Steve, this is a critical frame in bowling. All pros or amateurs alike really should want to strike in the 9th frame. We call it the foundation frame. You get a strike in the 9th frame, you have a lot of opportunity to finish your match in the 10th.
Period. Come on!
And he picks up the strike at number 9. As Al indicated, he has the foundation laid. And once again, like the earlier one in number 8,
okay,
blasted in and
comes
talks
real
his way
wide.
right through the
He's
strike.
got more power in this shot, Steve. The ball is coming high. It settles into the pocket. 4 takes out the 7. He got his double.
Talk the pins down.
Now, Keith is in his critical shot too. This is his 9th frame.
Perkins apace. Kolozsi again driving through on number 9. Again with the advantage.
He's critical shot. Solid at the line. Ball finishes, gives him the strike and maintains his 12-pin lead. In the 10th frame, if Keith would strike and get 9, he could close out Newrath. First shot is a must. There's that tremendous power. Tremendous
There's
power
the smile.
shot.
Finally creasing the face of Keith Kolozsi.
Looked like Keith was over talking to his wife. He really should be concentrating more. He needs 9 pins and a spare to maintain the championship and go into the last match. Newrath can still win if Keith would get 8 pins.
But he gets them all.
That was it.
That should just about do it. Keith Kolozsi into the championship round with another driving strike, scaring all the pins down.
Scared me too, Steve.
Tell you what, we can hear that because the lanes are mic'd. And let me tell you what, we really get some noise in there.
Okay. Tremendous finish, 237.
237 total for Keith Kolozsi, and he is on.
Right now, your Amana dealer is having a sale you love.
Oh,
You'll love it because everything's on sale. Radar range microwave ovens, washers and dryers, even refrigerators. It's the Amana sale you love.
Maybe you, but you've never tried to get this thing down a chimney.
The Amana sale you love at your participating Amana dealer.
Available at all Shiloh Reich stores.
This is the place for the real taste of beer. Look around. Pabst is the place. There's just no doubt about it.
Pabst isn't beer drinking beer. I feel qualified to say that.
Pabst is the place. Your good friends all around you for the real taste of beer and all the good times you have here.
This is one place they still know how to brew beer.
For the real taste of beer, Pabst is the place.
4 years ago, Bonnie and I met Bob Knoll at Suburban Chevrolet and made a friend, someone to trust. He helped us to understand financing, interest rates, and warranties. Bob Knoll knows what good service means.
Ken and I both know you gotta work hard to be the best.
Bob Knoll Jr. has spent 23 years putting together a #1 team right here at Suburban Chevrolet in Florence. Suburban Chevrolet, when you're looking for someone to trust.
The other day, after eating at Perkins, my dad bought this glass mug for this 99 cents. It made a great home for my pet guppies, Geronimo and JJ. Inside this mug was a coupon for another mug free. And now we get another mug free every time we go to Perkins for a meal. It's a good thing because Geronimo and JJ have been very busy. Very, very busy.
We are down to our final 2 competitors in the PBA Regional Championships at the Super Bowl in Erlanger, Kentucky. Keith Kolozsi and Steve Fehr for the championship.
And we had an exciting semifinal between Kolozsi and Dave Newrath. 237-205 was the final, with Kolozsi the champion. Dave Newrath will join us now in the broadcast booth. And I know, Dave, it was an exciting finish for you, but you and Payne looking forward to joining us here.
Glad to be here. I'm glad it's over. Right?
All right, this is what everybody is going after. The SuperBowl PBA Regional 1983 Championship, this beautiful trophy, and the $3,000 first prize. And of course, the man they're after, Steve Fehr, the defending champion, his banner hanging over right here in lane 8. He has an outstanding delivery. Dave?
Unique. I bowled with Steve for a lot of years. Classic cupped wrist, semi-spinner, gets through the ball, creates a lot of revolution, a lot of, see the leg kick there, a lot of power on the shot. Steve is one heck of a bowler.
Your former teammate of his as well. In 1978, you teamed up with Steve to win the ABC doubles title.
Steve and I, as a doubles pair, made quite a few bucks together down through the years, and I think everybody in the Midwest and the country now respects his game.
And Al Thompson was talking about this gentleman's rich Gossage delivery.
They throw it about the same speed, Steve. It's fast. Tremendous power.
Once again, Dave, I'll ask you about this one. We get a chance to see that power delivery.
Maximum power. Maximum power. Just nothing but pure revolution and power. Throwing the pins all over the place. Each pin's looking for something else to knock down, but they're all gone.
And here is our defending champion from 1982. Perfect form. And he'll leave the 10.
I'm sure, Al, you talked about the difference in the two lanes. Even though each and every bowling lane is made to exact specifications, there are unique and subtle differences that the players have to pick out. Today, the right lane is quite a bit tighter, 2 to 3 boards, than the left lane, and the bowlers trying to play the edge of the oil may have a tendency to leave a weak 10 from time to time, but Steve will figure him out and he'll be right in there. You can bet on it.
Also, he wants the $3,000.
That's a minor detail.
Steve Fehr will pick up the spare, and he much more composed, I should say, than the rest of the bowlers we've seen this afternoon, Dave.
Thanks
you
a
in
lot.
particular. The emotion obviously etched on your face each time you bowl. I'm not sure if it was the emotion or the pain
a little
you're
bit of
wincing
both.
from.
A little bit of both. I've been known down through the years to get a little emotional wrapped up in the game. Steve, on the other hand, calm, cool. His job is to execute and to do it to the best of his ability, and that's why he's one of the country's best bowlers.
Again, he will leave one, this time on the left side.
I think that's typical, Al, when you get a pair of lanes that's playing 2 to 3 boards difference. It doesn't sound like much, but to the players it is a lot. You see there leaving a weak 10 on the right lane, left lane going a hair snug for a 4-pin. Steve will be able to make the adjustments. The bowlers only get a couple of shadow balls in between games. I think the next 8 frames, Steve will be right there.
It only takes 1 board on a lane condition to make the ball finish tremendously high or stay light in the pocket. Steve covers the spare.
Keith Kolozsi picked up strikes in the 3rd and 4th frames, while Steve Fehr, working on a spare in the 2nd, struck in the 3rd and 4th frames. Now Keith Kolozsi to open up the 5th.
Keith has a 10-pin lead. Strike in the 5th frame here will give him a 20-pin lead over Fehr.
Again, he blasts away, pulls up with a strike, and again Kolozsi with the lead on Steve Fehr.
I would not be surprised to see both bowlers take it to the wall, with the exception of losing a hit. We might take a moment to mention some of our other finalists. Bill Daniels, the alternate today. James Fehr, a local youngster, a student of mine that just come out of the junior traveling leagues last year. Super effort on Jim Fehr this week, finishing 6th. What a credit to that young man.
Dave, he bowled a 300 game, his first game of the tournament. Again, we're talking about Fehr.
Right out of the box. Excellent. execution. Terry Clayton, Mike Durbin, Ted Hannes, Jim Menzie. Steve Fehr, right lane, needs to stay with Keith.
Strike would be nice. And it is.
6-pin. 6-pin really doing its job that time. Let's watch it here on the replay. Steve's eyes, intense execution right there. Now watch his reaction as the 6-pin, second pin from the right hand of your screen, goes to the gutter, comes out, takes out the 10. Yes, he likes it.
That keeps the match tied. If Steve would strike in the 6th frame, he would take a 10-pin lead over Kolozsi. You know, in 1982, Steve won over $70,000. In fact, it was $76,000 on the PBA Tour. 2 championships. Back defending his title here at Erlanger.
And this is his 1 Cincinnati title. 28 years old. Looks good. And it is.
Got a break. Got a break. We'll watch it here on the replay. Steve gets this ball wide. He knows it. Watch a little body English to help it get back. He's got a root at home. Look at it. Doesn't like it. Now all of a sudden it goes into a roll. He's going to root it on home. Head pin going to the wall, coming off, taking 3 pins out.
I think if you could draw a follow-through, you would just freeze his.
Well, Steve is a very well-schooled bowler. He and I have practiced for hours and hours and hours for years over at Western Bowl here in the greater Cincinnati area. It's no accident that Steve Fehr is that good.
So this will be a difficult one for Keith Kolozsi. It's the first time we've heard a murmuring and an oohing in the crowd. This will be a difficult. Looked good when it started, Dave.
Not really, Stevie. He got the ball in a little short there. He had been hitting the 9th board before. He hit 11 there. Ball going high. If either lane he's going to choose to leave it on, it's this lane because he can use the plexiglass to bounce the pins out. Didn't work that time.
So he was actually going to try and bounce the pins off the side and have it come back?
Exactly. We saw it last year on the clean. Now watch these pins. Come to the back plexiglass, which is very resilient. The pins normally could bounce out and carry that 4-pin out of there. Not the case this time. Last year on the King Show, we did see Rick Pollard, by the way, who finished 22nd in this tournament, make that on television. 7-10 split.
He picks up a strike here. But right now, Steve Fehr with the hammer because of the miscue by Kolozsi.
This shot keeps Keith in the match. He knows with an opponent like Fehr, he must throw strikes. He gets the thin ball off the wall. He's down by 24 pins. Steve can add to his lead. While Steve is taking his time, I want to thank all the bowling fans in the greater Cincinnati and Erlanger area for coming out and supporting the event. The management here at the Super Bowl have been tremendous. Bob and Maureen Snodgrass, great host.
There we see it, the ringing 10. 1 pin not doing its job, and we're going to see it on the replay right here.
And this is exactly what you were talking about, that tight lane.
Yep, the right lane, the 6-pin. Second one from the right hand of your screen. Watch it go right around the 10-pin without doing its job and taking it out. Boom, right around it,
now,
Steve.
when you talk about a tight lane, just a few boards being...
It's that much different. Just a few boards can create that sort of a problem. And Steve will handle it here. Just part of the game. That's what adds to the fascination of it. So.
And our score?
Steve Fehr with a 23-pin lead going into the 8th frame. 23 pins.
The other 2 local finishers in the tournament, the Pollard brothers, Rick and Ron. Ron finishing 22nd, Rick finishing 13th. I said 22nd before. Sorry, Rick. A bowling family. Their entire family was bowling here. Their father, too. He did not make the cut. It was just a great tournament, Al. High scores, a lot of enjoyment for the people in the stands. Coming down to 3 frames. Steve Fehr can close the match out if he takes it to the wall.
Period.
He has a release that is second to none. Lets it go out. Again, the perfect motion.
Super follow through. You can see the ball coming into the pocket. It's going to be solid the 4, taken out the 7. Keeps his lead. Kolozsi must strike. He's in a must-strike situation. Down by 23 pins.
Here's where you squeeze the fingers just a little tighter. For $1,000, you need 1 strike. Gets a break on the 6 pin out of the gutter out.
Kick the 10 down.
It's a tremendous break, Dave, and you can see the break as a 6 pin lays on the 10. We'll watch it slow-mo here.
6 pin will go to the gutter.
Bounces up
with the belly of the pin and carries it out. Keith is still alive. If he takes it to the wall, he'll force Steve Fehr to get the next 2 strikes. Got to have this one.
Oh,
tremendous kick.
And he gets a roar from the crowd, raises his hands, thanking the pin for falling, and Kolozsi will go back and sit down with a smile on his face.
This is really one of the great shots in bowling when you have the pins kick out. Now watch the 4 pin trip over. The neck hits the body of the 4 pin, and it just beats the rack. There it goes.
It was the head pin doing the damage out, kicking the 4 pin in the back, wobbling and falling down. Keith Kolozsi is still alive, but Steve Fehr has the hammer in his hand. He could close the match out, 9th and 10th frame if he strikes.
Tremendous bowling. Both champions.
Can't throw him any better than that. Absolutely perfect.
Starts it with a strike.
We can have a 250 to 240 match.
Steve's been there before. He knows what it takes. He knows what he has to do. We all like to win a game without letting our competitor even throw a shot like Steve or Keith Kolozsi did to me last game.
Dave, for our viewers, what is he putting on his hand in that little bottle there?
Steve and I and a lot of players from this area have developed a great liking for a substance called Lift. It's made by one of our local old-time retired but great bowlers, Chuck Hacker. He mixes it up in his basement. Nobody knows what's in it, but it gives you a real good grip on the ball, and it feels good on your hand. Steve uses it all the time. So do I. Steve Fehr wants to win. He needs this strike.
Steve Fehr.
You can watch the ball, and this is a critical shot. Close out in the match. Ball goes wide. Now watch the pin action.
Look at his eyes, Al. Look at his eyes.
He knows he's got the ball rolling. If he gets the kick off the wall, which he does, 4, 5, 7 down last, with a count of 8 and a spare, he would be the champion.
Steve, you call that calm? Those eyes were so big, we could have seen him from a mile away.
He smells that victory, that's why.
He loves it. 1 more strike. Steve Fehr retains his title for this 2nd year. Right here.
Crowd very quiet. As Fehr stares down the
pin count's most important. He must have 8.
He gets his 8. 8 plus 1. And gets the congratulatory shake from Keith Kolozsi. And here it is again, Dave.
When you need one, you amp it up, you throw it a little harder, a little more direct. Know you got to have at least 8. That shot will be good for 9 any day of the week. A winner, Steve Fehr, our champion again.
As an investor today, you're faced with more alternative places to put your money than ever before. It's a jumble out there. At Gradison & Company, we can help you fit the pieces into place, build creatively to meet your financial objectives. Our investment specialists have their hands on the whole range of alternatives available and the knowledge required to put the right ones together into a soundly structured program. Since 1925, Cincinnati money has grown with Gradison.
Hi, this is Tim Timberman of Timberman Mazda, where we have a philosophy about the way we consult with you about your automobile purchase. We're interested in your lifestyle, your particular wants and needs. Tim Timberman is Mazda. Sundowner trucks, the GLC, RX-7, and the all-new Mazda 626. Come in and browse in our indoor automotive showroom. As big as all outdoors. Take I-75 south to the Florence-Burlington exit, then left to Tanner's Lane.
For 8 hours a day, we're doing what we like doing. Can't beat that. Wanna bet?
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer is what you have in mind. So welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life. Season's greetings from Carl's Bowler's Paddock on Hamilton Avenue. Carl's Bowler's Paddock is your one-stop bowling headquarters featuring nationally advertised brands. There are lots of Christmas specials now on bowling balls, shoes, bags, shirts, and blouses, and lots more. Carl is a specialist in measuring and drilling your ball. The Bowler's Paddock specializes in trophies for all sports. Visit Carl's Bowler's Paddock soon at 11952 Hamilton Avenue or call 825-2200. Carl's Bowler's Paddock is your one-stop headquarters for everything in bowling.
More stores and things.
More everything.
Find a lot to give at Florence Mall.
Ho, ho, ho! Your biggest mall!
Steve Fehr was our champion. He gets the $3,000. But, Steve, I wanted to ask you, you had to come from behind against Keith Kolozsi, and, boy, is he a real challenge.
Well, I'll tell you, when we started out, I thought he was going to bowl 280 when he had strike, spare, and a triple. So I was looking for him to bowl a big game, and I just hoped I could stay close, and I got a break by him going open.
One of the PBA's directors is here as well, Doug Martin, and he has a little Christmas present for you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Steve, from Super Bowl, great job, great bowling all weekend. Got a present here for you, $3,000. Congratulations.
He's the Super Bowl's only champion, and his name is Steve Fehr.